Sometimes God just dumps sermon illustrations right in my lap. And I thought, well, how hard could it be for God to give us an illustration of heat and fire and a fiery furnace on the first Sunday in August? Unfortunately, this year, that is a tall order. We had that family reunion yesterday that I talked about last week, and we were huddled around the fire in the middle of the day with jackets on, trying to stay warm. So when we get into the fire in today's sermon, which is the fourth in our series, you'll just have to imagine the heat. We're going to start off with a little bit of movie trivia. A man is walking through his cornfield in Iowa when he hears a mysterious heavenly voice. What does the voice say? Right. If you build it, he will come. The signature line from that classic baseball movie, Field of Dreams. The farmer, Ray Kinsella, plows up his cornfield and builds a ball field for long-dead baseball players who think it's heaven. He eventually hears another heavenly voice. This one says, "Go the distance." And he sees the stats for an old-time baseball player, Archibald Moonlight Graham, who played part of just one game in his whole major league career. He never got to catch a ball, never got to bat, and this sets Ray off on a road trip to Chisholm, Minnesota, to find Graham. Now, of course, Field of Dreams is a fantasy, but Doc Graham, as he is known by in Chisholm, was a real person. I even have his baseball card. After his all-too-brief shot at the major leagues, Graham went on to finish medical school and served as the school doctor in Chisholm for his entire career. In the movie, he is miraculously given a second chance to fulfill his dream as a Major League Baseball player. Ray brings him to his field, and he is once again a 20-year-old chasing his dream. But when Ray's daughter begins to choke on a hot dog or something in the stands and she falls off, Doc Graham, or Moonlight Graham, has a choice to make. Does he stay on the ball field, continue to chase that dream of Moonlight Graham, or does he step off the field and forever return to being Doc Graham? Well, he barely hesitates. Once again, he gives up baseball for good to serve this hurting child. When the chips are down, Doc Graham went the distance, staying true to his calling, and saved a life. No matter the cost, he went the distance. Now, today's story is from the 3rd chapter of Daniel, and it's about going the distance. The chapter, though, is not about Daniel himself, but about 3 of his friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel has gotten them government jobs as administrators of the province of Babylon, even though all of them had originally been captives from Israel. So you get the picture, they are foreigners working in Babylon. We call it Iraq today. Moreover, these are Bible-believing followers of God, and that's where the trouble starts. Verse 1 of chapter 3. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 90 feet high and 9 feet wide, and set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. You might recognize the name Nebuchadnezzar. He's the king that Saddam Hussein was supposed to have tried to imitate. And just as Saddam had that great big statue that got toppled, well, Nebuchadnezzar had his own great big statue. Only this one was made of gold, 90 feet high. We continue. He then summoned the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials to come to the dedication of the image he'd set up. So the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it. Then the herald loudly proclaimed, "This is what you are commanded to do, O peoples, nations, and men of every language. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace. Now you can tell that we're dealing with government officials here, because this part of the chapter always sounds to me like it was written in government speak. Never say in one word what you can say in 10. That new health care bill that they're debating in Congress, 1,018 pages. The rules for the Cars for Clunkers program, 136 pages. The one-page bill that was introduced last year that would have required plain speaking in government communication, never got a vote. So instead of saying, when you hear the music, worship, the king decrees, O peoples, nations, and men of every language, as soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, aren't those the same thing? Pipes and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up, and whoever doesn't will be thrown into the blazing furnace. Now, this is, like I said, the fourth in our series on fire. But this is the first time that we're literally talking about being on fire. Bow down and worship this statue, or you will be thrown into the fire. So which option do you suppose most people chose? Verse 7. Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, and all their kinds of music, all the peoples, nations, and men of every language fell down and worshipped the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. This is how the world works, isn't it? Even if it's something idiotic like worshiping some ruler statue, most people give in. Most people go along, take the easy way out. But not the people of God. Not those who believe that following God is more important than fitting in. That doing what is right is always right, even if there is a cost. Enter Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. At this same time, astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews. They said to King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. You have issued a decree, O king, that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and all kinds of music must fall down and worship the image of gold, and that whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into a blazing furnace. But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, O king. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of gold that you have set up. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Rack, Shack, and Benny for you VeggieTale fans, will not take the easy way out. They will not bow down to that stupid statue of gold. And so, of course, that sets them up for trouble. Now, I don't know why these astrologers are so upset with them. Maybe it's because they